What's going on, guys? I'm Fuller from Custom Offsets TV on the YouTube, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about traction bars. Now, traction bars have a few different names. You might hear some people call them ladder bars, but in general, traction bars is like the industry term for it. It's that bar that connects somewhere in the middle of your truck and goes back to your axle, okay? So what we want to talk about is what they're for, what their intended purpose is, why people run them, and then the pros and the cons, the benefits of having them. So I guess primarily the main reason why people want traction bars is for one of two things. First one just being aesthetics, so that means looks, it's however they want their truck to look, but they do actually serve a real life purpose. So under heavy acceleration or whenever you're applying torque to that rear axle, you'll see that without track bars, if you really hammer on it, you're gonna watch that differential twist upwards. Now while that's happening, you're also moving that entire axle forward a little bit, and what this does is it changes the angle from your drive shaft to that differential, and basically you're putting that joint at a place where it isn't typically, which can cause different vibrations. It can cause premature wear, and then the big thing is that axle wrap or the wheel hop, where you're kind of bouncing all around because you're putting so much stress and pressure on your rear leaf springs. They're actually going from the U shape that they typically are to kind of like an S, because you're shifting everything up and forward, and it just twists things up in there, and you get a little bit of binding going on. The track bars or traction bars are designed to help that and prevent that from happening. So what the traction bar does then is, like I said, it mounts to your frame. Now there's both weld-on style and bolt-on style, so you want to pay attention to that if you're ordering them. If you don't have a welder, you're probably going to want the bolt-on ones. But there are a lot of people too that will get the bolt-on kits and still choose to weld them on if they've got, you know, a 900 horsepower Duramax or something like that, or they do a lot of towing in like a hilly area, or they take their truck off-road a lot where it's really, really bumpy. You want to make sure you have a good solid connection to your frame, because that's basically your brace point. Then you've got a heim joint, and then that track bar runs all the way back to the rear axle. There's different ways to attach them back there. Usually you've got U-bolts that go around that rear axle that you torque down, and then there's a bushing on the backside too. So it's still free floating, so it does allow some movement left, right, up, down. So now what these bars are doing are, under that heavy acceleration or under that time period where you're applying torque to that rear axle, they're preventing that axle from moving forward. They still allow it to travel up and down, which is the way the suspension is intended to move, but they don't let it move forward, and it also prevents that rotation so that your differential or the pumpkin in the back of your truck isn't twisting upwards and creating binding issues at the U-joint. Now the good news is, if you've already lifted your truck, you can actually install these things in your driveway with some fairly simple tools, especially if you get the bolt-on ones. But we also do offer these as upgrades to lift kits. So if you're shopping on the website, like BDS is a great example. You might find a lift kit that you like, and then it'll say traction bar options. You can click on that and you can add the traction bars to that. Now BDS offers what they call a recoil traction bar. So they actually have a spring that's inside that track bar, and now their traction bars are also fully adjustable that way, and they do have grease zerks on them too, so when it comes to maintenance, it's a fairly simple process. So that's why I really like the BDS recoil traction bars. Now companies like Rough Country offer traction bars as well, and those are significantly cheaper for you too. They're only about $400. Kind of depends on your truck and what kit you're getting, but if you've got a lot of axle wrap or wheel hop going on, or you just want the appearance of the traction bars, Rough Country makes a really good kit that is both strong and looks nice. They've got a cool kind of laser cut design on theirs that's, you know, it looks better to the eye than just your standard tubular traction bar. There's a few other companies out there that primarily all they make is traction bars, but you're going to want to pay attention to how long those are. So I see a lot of kits, you know, like the eBay or Amazon brands that are quite short, and that's really not going to help you at all, because you're not bracing that far enough up your truck to really have an impact on how much that axle can rotate. If you've got a really, really short arm or really short tube, there's enough room in there and enough play that you can still twist and bind things up. So you want to extend that out, making this huge triangle, which gives you the strength, and that's why people add the traction bars like from Rough Country, from BDS, and all the other guys that make the really nice quality, really long ones. So if you want to check those out or learn anything else about them, you can check out our website at customoffsets.com. We got all the lift kits you could ever want on there, and the track bar options to add to them if you want. Peace.